Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company specializing in cards. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains and excellent service, which is why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au or shop 394 to 398 Middleborough Road, Blackburn, Victoria, and also find them on Facebook. Thank you very much, EJ Cards, for sponsoring us.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 58 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam Amy and Russell Gibson. Russell, Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
It's not far off now, and the way Melbourne's weather is, I could swear we're about to have a white Christmas.
A white Christmas. I could not agree more, actually.
It was below 10 degrees, hailing, and it's not
actually
pleasant.
The right time to wear an ugly Christmas sweater, Ad.
Yeah. It's definitely, and I've been shopping for one. I've been shopping for a nice woolly, ugly Christmas sweater, and well, who knows? Maybe a Christmas shirt of sorts.
Might be in your Santa sack when you wake up on the 25th.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yep.
You know what's not going to be a happy Christmas for a couple of our friends in the NBA. One in particular, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, we have to start here.
Let's just start off at the top. Cade Cunningham will be watching the NBA for the rest of the season because he is out with season-ending surgery.
Yeah, so
not good.
Interesting one. Like they could have chosen to just keep resting and rehabilitating him, but they basically decided to get like a definitive fix. I actually don't have a big problem with this. I think the way that players look at their careers now, they don't really look at it month by month or even year by year. Like they really sort of, focus their career almost on 10 or a 15 year sort of time scale. So I'm not shocked to, sort of see this. And, we've seen it like with a lot of guys that have set out the like Zion Williamson's probably the most prominent recent one, but then you can think about Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. They're all guys that have, missed a year to come right. So
yeah, I think getting it right early is very important. To say the least. If you have a niggling injury ongoing, you end up becoming Anthony Davis.
No one is as special as Anthony Davis when it comes to injuries. Come on.
Unless your name's Kawhi Leonard. He's done a lot of things, and now the man the only thing he can't do is actually take the court and play basketball.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi's an interesting one because I actually think in a lot of ways he was almost ahead of his time in terms of load management and the way he sort of rested his body. I mean, you could sort of, it's interesting. It'll be an interesting case study, I think, to look back at his career about, the minutes played and the injuries that he's had, because some people's theory is that the more you rest, the more likely you are to get injured. And that
because you're not in peak performance. You're actually taking the breaks actually does more harm than good.
Yeah, and particularly a lot of the old school guys say that, and then, maybe you could argue that for Kawhi Leonard, that's actually, played out true because he's got this, he's coming off another season-ending injury. So anyway, look.
We're digressing away from Cade. What are your thoughts on Cade Cunningham, though? Is it the right time for Detroit to pull the trigger here? I mean, there's a pretty impressive toted number one pick.
I mean, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because there's not a lot of value for him to keep trying to play and then slightly improving their record and then having a worse off chance to get Wembanyama. I don't mind, from that perspective at all. And frankly, I think it's a good play because if you can put those two together, like that's an amazing two pieces that you've just stacked together.
Yeah.
I actually just want to get straight into it. So let's jump into card ladder. The one that took my eye straight away was his PSA 10 base. That's down 72%. So that last sold for $59.
I'm crying a little bit on the inside.
Yeah, so that actually peaked at $250 in the last 3 months. Like that's really interesting to me. And I think that my comparison for this is I'm comparing this to Donovan Mitchell. I feel the same way about this as how I was feeling about Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. I think this is a really good buy. I know we talk about, base being not that valuable and, sort of yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, there's always a price that something is, good at. And I think at $59, with the price of grading, the price of picking up a card and a break or a single or, whatever, and getting it back as a 10.
Yeah.
Just doesn't get any better than that, honestly. So I think, look, it might slide another couple of bucks, but I couldn't really see it sliding too much more than that.
What about like so the base is slid heaps?
Yeah.
What about the silver?
The silver has slid a little bit, but nothing as much as that. So it's down 22%. Look, this is interesting, isn't it? If you look at the graph there, there's not as many price points as the other one, and also it's a little bit up and down. So
yeah, like it's almost like when he started getting injured, or when there were concerns early in the season. That's when the dip started.
Yeah. So the other thing that comes to mind here is I wonder if it's a different type of collector that picks up a silver than picks up a base.
Ah, that's an interesting one.
You know what I mean? Like, so the people who are like collecting base are like, that's it. They've done their investment. They just want to dump and run and cut to the next thing. Whereas silver's, it is going to hold its value a little bit more because people sort of see that sort of long-term, investment into it. Maybe that's actually, and the price difference here that's significant, isn't it? Like that's what, 10x from base to silver.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot.
Yeah, and look, it's only a recent release. There's the retail release may have seen it dip of Prism.
Look, that definitely
could in the market.
That definitely could contribute to the price going down. I personally suspect though it's more of an injury thing.
Yeah, possibly. It's just interesting looking at the chart of when it dropped.
Yeah.
I've got a vested interest, so I've brought up the blue to 199.
Yeah, talk to us.
Now mine's raw.
Yeah.
Not a PSA 10. It's only got a pop count of 7.
What do you think yours will grade?
I reckon mine's probably a 9.
Yeah.
Like it's minty pack fresh, but I think the centering may let it down.
Yeah.
So unless the breaker like really wrecked it when he
licked it and
broke it,
rubbed it on the carpet off air. Yeah. These breakers.
Yeah, look, I reckon it'll grade a 9, and look, as a 9, it's probably not worrying me so much. It's only down like 3.5%, 4%. However, it currently is a raw card and is down almost $400. Last sold for $300 US.
So I'm looking at the raw. It actually says it's down 57%.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, last sold for 300, starting price of 700.
Yeah.
Right, so we had a peak up to just over 1,000 US in early October.
That's actually shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I was meaning about the troughs. Like towards the end of October, he was already selling for 400. Then it sort of bumped up again when he was trying to, after the rehab, come back, played well, and then injured again, dip again, maybe a bit of hope. And then all of a sudden 300. So look, maybe you're right. Maybe it's the yo-yo or the roller coaster we're on is the uncertainty of the injury, and he keeps getting injured, and people are panicking.
Yeah. So I suppose the thing that's really going through my head now is, when does Cade become a good buy? Because I think at half price, like you have to at least think about it. I think for me, I'm probably going to wait. I'm not going to jump in right now because I think a 12-month injury is a very long time in the card market. And look, we've seen a massive correction, very, very quickly. So I'm not expecting, another dump down like that. But at the same time, I'm also not expecting a quick fix on this either. So I don't particularly feel rushed.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. My take here is that when does he become a buy is dependent on the injury. So I think making the surgery now is great, but as a collector, the time to gamble is now.
Absolutely.
Right? So prices are tanking, and if you think the surgery is going to be successful and you want to take a punt, this is the point where you go,
Well, I think if you're a collector, like it's not even a gamble now. You've just basically saved yourself 50%.
Oh
And
yeah,
this,
if you're a Pistons man and
yeah,
you want Cade, go get Cade.
this is how I
This is
felt
when you
about Fox in the offseason, to be honest with you, man. Because
yeah.
like when he dropped 50% in the offseason, I was like, I'm just getting 2 for 1 now. Like I was like, this is delicious, you know? So this is
You sh-
exactly the same scenario.
yeah. What about did the investors prop the market up by buying some of these at this price though?
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. Whereas if you're an investor, I think it's a little bit different again because
Yeah.
the time to get your money back, I think, is going to be at least 12 months, right? So that's
I
what I'm
don't think you're
saying.
getting money back on Cade for 12 to 18 months.
That's right. So there's no
Yeah.
real rush to sort of buy him if you are, I'm using air quotes now, but investing. So I think this is really exciting if you're a
Yeah.
collector, I think. Look, I can understand why people aren't sharing my optimism right now because especially if you've just, lost 50%, but at the same time, um, this is I feel like to me
Yeah.
it's almost like a very unique opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes it pretty clear to me that I should send this Cade off for grading.
It's a good time to get it graded because then PSA can't come back and,
Yeah.
upcharge you and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's on the decline, so yeah,
So
not a
the
bad time.
blue cracked ice is down 72%.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's definitely an exodus on the Cade train.
So
It's
which one would
interesting.
you buy though? Because I'm actually surprised the silver's held so much of its value.
Is it because it's a silver?
Yeah, and this is where I always get a little bit confused is not the right word. I know how hot silvers are, but still, if you look at the silver price and then you look at the blue to 199,
Mm.
like, so the
Yeah, the
blue to
silver's insane.
199 raw is 300.
Yeah.
And I know you're not comparing apples to apples here, but
Oh, well, raw,
let's look
raw
at the silver.
silver. Raw silver is last sold for $40, down to almost 60% as well. Get your raw silver Cades.
Yeah, so raw at 40 and then a PSA 10.
All right, so most cards that look pretty good will come either an 8 or a 9. So if you get the 8, you're probably breaking even on raw.
So
But
a
if you get a
PSA
9,
10 is at 690 and a raw's at 40, mate. So what's that? That's more than 10x. I think that's an excellent play to buy
yeah.
raw and grade.
And the PSA 9, and this is where I think I'm giving strength to your statement there, is it's $112.50 currently for a silver PSA 9. So if you're paying $30 to get it graded, or like one of these bulk submissions, you're still going to make a couple of bucks if it comes back a 9, not a 10.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
This is when the numbers actually works, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's an exciting time if you've got those Cades or you sort of, you know what, I don't know what to spend my money on at the moment. I want to make one of those plays for a card that's going to spike. This guy's a number 1 pick and he's shown he can play ball.
Yeah.
He's going to come back. The question is, what do the Pistons look like when he does come back? Hopefully, they've figured some stuff out. Some players have been able to grow and they start to rise. He could be. I mean, we're not trying to start a hype train, but this is the kind of prospect that you'd like to see this with.
No, I don't think we're trying to start a hype train at all. I'd say the opposite. I think we're trying to be quite, just looking at the market. So this is
Really,
something.
yeah, looking for an opportunity in the market. Yeah, definitely.
This is something that's been going through my head a little bit lately.
Mm.
Is I think I get so caught up in investing in all these like tiny prospects that essentially, you might hit on 1 in 4 or 1 in 5. But
Yeah, if you're lucky.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think what I want to start to do in the next 12 months is look at genuine blue chip prospects who are just either down
Yeah.
on their luck or like down in the market. So
Yeah.
the one that comes to mind, this is a new one that to add to list Cade at the moment, but the one is Markel Fultz. I think that he was a number 1 pick, for a reason. And if you look at his prices at the moment, like I think he's very much like a forgotten person. So,
Yeah.
are you better off buying into Fultz at the moment when he's so low or rolling the dice on, say, Jalen Johnson or someone like this? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so at what point do you say, I'm going to stop investing in these ultra high risk sort of assets and then look at the guys who are blue chip? And I think,
Yeah. But at what point does someone like Markel Fultz just come across as just a role player? Like he's not going to break into superstar status.
yeah,
Like
and look,
at what point have you done your dough and go, you know what, he's never getting back up to those heights.
yeah,
He's a serviceable player and you'll get something back, but you're never getting that max value that he was in his rookie year.
Yeah, so I suppose to answer that question specifically, it depends when you got into the market. So if you were
Mm,
paying ultra high end prices for this guy, look,
you've
there's
done
an
your dough.
argument. There's an argument to be made that yes, you've done your dough, cut your losses, and get out. But
Yeah.
the other side for me is like I don't have a lot of faults. I'm looking to buy a little bit, same as Cade, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, look, I personally see a lot of potential in Fultz. I don't think he's like old enough to ride off,
No, I don't think he's completely done. He's been in the league what, 5-6 years?
but he came into the league really young. He's
With
really
Tatum.
not played.
Was it?
He was Tatum's year, exactly. Yeah,
It was
but
Tatum. He got the
I think he's younger than Tatum. So
Celtics conned Philadelphia into taking Fultz, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not about Tatum. It's of Fultz. It's more about just looking at higher end prospects. When they're down, and I think this is like another really good
Yeah.
spot for that. So.
Yeah.
And just to go on your point before about the Detroit Pistons, I think post Stan Van Gundy, they've made a lot of really good decisions in terms of building the roster. They've
Mm,
made some gambles on prospects, like for example Bagley. They gambled on Bagley,
yeah.
but they also have made some just very sensible decisions too, like getting Bogdanovich. I think that's the type of thing that
Yeah.
actually really helps your franchise because he's someone who's very steady,
For sure.
he's very consistent, he's a professional. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's a really good person to add in with like Beef Stew and Cade and Jaden Ivey and all these other like young guns they've got in there. Like it's like they're a good team, and I think they're
Very
just going to get better. So
It'll be interesting.
yeah,
Definitely interesting.
final thoughts on this bad boy, mate?
Uh Cade is a buy/hold for me right now.
Yeah, so I think for me he is absolutely a buy, and I think the real question is where do you want to make your play? I think your
Mm,
comment about buying raws and grading is really good.
yeah.
And I think for me, looking at numbered stuff, because if it's
Yeah.
falling 50%, you know,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just just exciting, really.
it's exciting. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
exciting. Speaking of exciting,
What else is exciting?
the Twitterverse is exciting. Well, it's a scary place.
It is scary.
Now, I read a little bit about this and kind of chuckled because it did start. It did start with was it the All Star game where they named the All Star MVP the Kobe Bryant Award,
Yeah.
and then last year out of nowhere the Eastern Conference MVP. Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Western Conference Finals MVP got named like the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird trophy.
Yeah.
Right. The NBA, given the resounding feedback they must have received for this, they're redesigning and renaming many of their individual awards. This is tweeted out by Kirk Goldsberry.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's kick it off with the big one. The MVP is going to be named the Michael Jordan MVP award. The Defensive Player of the Year will be named after Hakeem Olajuwon, not
Yeah.
Draymond Green.
Look,
Or Kawhi Leonard.
I love a large one. So for me, for him to get an award like this, I'm very, very chuffed about this.
Look.
Yeah.
I like Hakeem. Actually, I was sort of bit of a joke there. But Rookie of the Year is named after Wilt.
That's an interesting one.
I think because Magic already got the Western Conference Finals MVP,
Yeah.
I would have said Rookie of the Year Magic Johnson.
Interesting.
Like championship first year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Jumping at center. That's like legendary, isn't it? Yeah.
Like that is a Rookie of the Year kind of play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, most improved, George Mikan, and the sixth man is named after Havlicek.
I love the Havlicek one. The George Mikan, I'm a bit like take it or leave it, to be honest. But the reason I do like it is because I think it's a really good way to educate the new breed of NBA people coming through. Because how many 10-year-olds know who George Mikan is?
Yeah, true.
So I like it from that perspective. And
there's a final award.
Yeah.
They're going to make a new Clutch Award named after Jerry West.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you like that one?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know, but like this seems like a made up award. Like I understand what a clutch player is, but I don't know. It feels naming it Clutch. What do you call it? Crunch Time Award.
And then you could even get the chocolate bar to like sponsor it.
Exactly.
How good would that be? Well, so my feeling about this is it's either going to be ultra subjective and they're going to find weird and wonderful ways to pick the most clutch person, or they're going to do this like ultra deep dive into advanced stats and just totally nerd it out, which I'd probably prefer option B, because I think people consuming more advanced stats is a really good thing and that's a fun thing. But I also think that might sort of take somewhat the enjoyment out of the award when the award is given to like Anthony Simons or something like that.
I know it's difficult, but because he's still in the league, but the Clutch Award should be named after LeBron, shouldn't he? Because he's part owner of Clutch Sports. Oh boy, controversial? No. He is, isn't he? It's Clutch. It's Clutch Sports.
It's spelt with a K though, but yeah, I get.
We just rename the award. Fine, we'll spell out with a K too. It's a made-up award after all.
It's another sponsorship opportunity, isn't it?
Bang, bang. What do you think?
So my other thought about this too is I think it's baseball, they have the offensive player of the year, and then they also have like the defensive player of the year. I actually wish they would, instead of say the Clutch Award, they had an offensive player of the year.
Isn't that the scoring title though?
I suppose so, but I don't know, just make like an official award. I like that, because
I think the scoring title should have,
and that separates it from the MVP, because I don't know, then it'd say like Kevin Durant would just have this almost like rolling award, or
that
Luka will get this award and
he gets it on his own. Doesn't have to get an
MVP. I like that idea, but at the same time, I'm not that sort of fussed about it. Sort of either way. The thing that really did catch my eye was the Jordan Trophy. So have you read the specs on that?
No. Is that the one in the?
So the height is 23.6 inches, and that's because his number is
23 and won 6 rings.
Yeah, very good. It's a 5-sided base to reference his MVP awards, a 6-sided badge for his NBA championships, and a 15-degree angle at the base to reference his 15-year career, including the 2 seasons with Washington, which is, I think that's a bit controversial. It should really be like 13.5 degrees, personally. The other interesting thing for me, and this is like going out to the nerd sort of end of the world, he requested that the sculpture didn't look like him, so which is why it's a generic looking basketball player. And I sort of wonder if that had to do with his relationship with Nike and him being the Jumpman logo and all that type of stuff, and it was just too hard for them
again
to reconcile that. Like, how funny is that, hey?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I suppose just tying this back full circle into cards, because this is a basketball card podcast after all. Do you think this type of thing helps people get more interest and then generate some sort of hype behind people and get a bit more? So for example, the new award, like the Clutch Award, do you think that someone like Damian Lillard might get a bit more excitement behind them when it comes to card collecting?
Sorry, it's the Jerry West Clutch Award.
Yeah. But just say Damian Lillard won the first award.
I'm like, we've got to make sure we use the full.
Yes.
Hyped up name.
I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
The Michael Jordan MVP.
Yeah.
Award. The Clutch Award. I'm just trying to think. I mean, these awards existed beforehand. Does naming them after famous players throw them into the spotlight more?
Well, I mean, that's a new award, but I suppose the other thing they could do too, which I'm assuming they are going to do if someone wins the Michael Jordan Award. Oh, actually, no, they won't be able to do this, will they? Because of the Panini Upper Deck thing. But
yeah.
Okay, let's use a larger one as the better example. So the defensive player of the year, maybe they'll have like a dual card with the 2 photos on it. Okay. Plus or minus like a dual on-card auto. That will be pretty lit.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah. Interesting.
Actually, there's not.
Yeah.
So Jordan's not going to sign. Olajuwon could. Wilt can't. Mikan can't. Havlicek, to be honest, I'm not sure about. Jerry West still signs. So I suppose there's a couple of things they could do there.
Yeah. I mean, Magic and Bird have got their more conference MVP awards.
I tell you what, it's made me think about buying a John Havlicek autograph, though. So actually, I think this will drive up a fraction of interest.
Do you think it'll drive the actual players that are on the award more than the players that win the award?
Well, I think Mike and it will because I think it's educating like the next generation of people. That's my honest belief
Yeah,
about
no,
Mike.
I definitely think it will educate people
Have a
about. Yeah.
check. It's definitely like given me a bit of a nudge.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm in this space at the moment anyway of buying like the old timers cards, so that's like not a big sort of push for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Interesting. I still
but
want to know. I still want to know the stats on the Clutch Award and why it's not spelled with a K.
they couldn't agree on anything.
Crunch Time Award.
Alrighty,
The Russell Westbrook Clutch Award.
Tyrese Haliburton.
Tyrese Haliburton. He's going all right, isn't he?
There's a lot of buzz around Haliburton at the moment. A lot of buzz, and I think, frankly, it's well deserved. So I thought what we could do tonight is do a Tyrese Haliburton versus Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because
Yep.
I think there's a little bit of airspace where those two are really in the same conversation. I think they're maybe a step down for some of the bigger guard prospects, but I think these two are, really knocking on the door now. I think Shea could be an all-star this year. I think Haliburton, it's going to be pretty tough for him in the East, but at the same time, he's playing such good basketball. It would be a little bit surprising to see him not there. Haliburton's numbers this year are just absolutely off the chart. So he's making 2.8 threes per game at nearly 40%.
He's balling. He is
Yeah.
absolutely balling at the moment.
4.3 rebounds, 10.8 assists, 1.8 steals, 0.3 blocks. It's not really much to talk about.
Yeah.
The interesting thing for him is turnover. So his turnovers are 2.7 per game, but he actually went through a stretch where he had 40 straight assists and no turnovers. So in terms of assist to turnover ratio, if he doesn't lead the league this year, I'll be really surprised. So I think it's like with Cade, at what point do you start saying you're going to start buying this guy? Because I think Haliburton, you really need to have a look at it.
Yeah.
His card ladder on his raw silvers, he's up 141%. So
That's crazy.
He has grown exponentially, which is
So he's on the radar. He's definitely on the radar. That's where we've got with that for sure.
And current prices is 36 USD, which if you sort of look at that and say, well, you're getting them for $20 not that long ago, like it's not a massive rise, but at the same time, it's still significant. Do I think it could keep going up from here? I think absolutely. So even though, yes, we've seen a big rise, I don't think that you've missed out completely if you haven't got onto the Haliburton train yet. So
look, there are some spikes on that chart there where they've sold in excess of 50. So yeah, we're definitely on a rise, but not at the peak.
Yeah. And look, again, that could be from two things: natural market variation that you get day to day, or it could be that those particular cards were just looking a little bit in better condition or, better scented than other cards. And that 100% does come into play when we're talking about sold price listings.
Yeah.
Particularly on Raw.
With I've gone one step ahead.
Talk to me.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, has got a few years on Tyrese.
Yeah, he does, but I think in terms of
2 years, isn't it? 2,
3. Yeah, I think in terms of prospecting, I don't mind that as a comp. I think
the reason I ask is are these comparable on their trajectory? And do we think that, because I'm looking at Shea's silver PSA 10, which is currently going for $475 US.
Yeah, interesting.
Up 15%.
Yeah.
The raw card last sold for 55, but that's a dip. It was actually selling upwards of $100 and $120 not long ago, as little as a few weeks ago.
I'm not surprised that SGA would be up and down a little bit because in some ways
he does play for
he's been traded to purgatory, so like that's like a legit thing. And I would also say too, they held him out last year a lot, and whether that was legit injury or they were just holding him out so they could get a better draft pick, I probably think it's the latter, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't think people see that the same way in the card world, so I can also understand how that would negatively affect his price. Seeing him, and you said he's down at the moment, is that what you said?
Yeah, so there's actually been a dip. The last sold a few days ago was $83.75, but the last sale was $55.
That to me is actually surprising because
there's a bit of a Stegosaurus looking bunch of bumps on the silver raw.
Look, I didn't check the prices before I came on to talk to you about this, but I would have expected that to be up. The PSA 10 is up though. That's actually up 15%.
Correct. the thing is, overall, his silver is up 40%, but there was a big spike before that, so it was closer to 80%. Do you know what I mean? Like, the card has spiked. My question, though, is because of the 2 years gap, I guess, between their rookie years
and
their extra time in the league, is this a projection on what we're going to see for Haliburton?
Yeah, interesting. That's actually a really good point.
Like, are we going, $40 for a Haliburton? That's great. There's going to be a spike where he goes up to 120.
Yeah.
And if you can get a PSA 10, his silvers are going to be worth 500.
Yeah.
If he's on a similar trajectory, the question is, do you invest in Shea, or like, do you get on the SGA train that's clearly left the station, or do you invest a little bit in Haliburton?
Yeah. And look, this is what I have been sort of going through my head, and I think it's actually a really good question, because if you're comparing the two prospects and you're looking at to buy one instead of the other, I actually don't think it's as cut and dry as what you would actually think, because Haliburton's game is very, very steady, very, very reliable. He'll make your team better. He'll make, all your teammates better, blah, blah, blah. A bit Chris Paul-esque.
Yeah.
Whereas SGA, I think he's got a little bit more sort of flash, and he's got a bit more excitement and hype behind him. So
got a bit of jar factor in him.
Yeah. And look, obviously to a much lesser degree, but I think, if you're looking at someone who's going to get to the potential highest point in the ceiling, I would still put my bet on SGA for that.
Okay.
But at the same time, even if you're still buying into Haliburton now, even though, yes, he's up 140% on his raws, I still think he's got a lot more, room to grow.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's what I was getting at. Like, are we seeing that growth that SGA saw early on?
Yeah.
Like, where it's a bit of a spike, but it's not crazy.
Yeah.
And then is that going to reflect in 2 years' time, where Haliburton is at that 40, 50, 100 back to 50, 60?
Yeah.
And I think it could be interesting. So that 140% increase, or that doubling, like almost doubling in price.
Yeah.
$36 to $40. That's still a steal if he heads in that same direction.
Yeah, I think so. And I was talking before about buying good prospects instead of just trying to gamble on all these prospects all the time.
Yeah,
like, I want to put Haliburton into this category too, because I still think like that silver at that price, I still think that's really good, because for that price and the quality of him as a player, do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's like a bit of a mismatch there.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
And I suppose the only counter argument to that is like the Ferrugia factor.
SGA's got that Ferrugia factor.
Yeah, whereas probably Haliburton doesn't have it, right?
But they both play in anti-Ferrugia teams.
Yeah, I think they're both going to have their moments, to be honest. And I think, look, if you're really going to put a gun to my head and I have to pick, I'll probably go with Haliburton. And I think part of that is just because of the price baseline.
Oh yeah, we like a good gamble.
Yeah, and also too, look, obviously my personal bias is like I'm more of a Kings guy than a Clippers and Thunder guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, if you made the argument that you're going to go with SGA over Haliburton, to be honest, I wouldn't even try and talk you out of it. I'd probably say you've made a good choice, because I really like this comp a lot, because I like both of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not something where I'm like, oh, I don't like this and I like this guy. I'm like, oh, actually, this is kind of tough. So yeah. Final thoughts on this one, Ad?
I'm going to keep an eye out for Haliburton.
Yeah, I think you just have to just keep watching this space, to be honest, because if you've bought some and they do spike, it's probably not the worst thing to do to like flip them out.
Flip them, yeah. Or if SGA tanks, it might be worth picking up, because he's got a spike. He does tend to spike.
Do you think they're going to tank SGA again?
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. See, they're a steaming pile of I have no idea.
I suppose what I'm asking there is, like, do you think they're going to rest him again, how they did last year for extended periods? I don't get the feeling they were going to be doing that, because
depends how they perform. Honestly, it depends how close they get to the lottery.
I mean, they're already. I mean, Chet's out for the year. That's done.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? So, how good do they get with when Chet starts playing and SGA and Giddey are going?
I was going to say, actually, the person who I think they're going to rest is Giddey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Watch this space on OKC. I was about to say, I feel like
I hate to
they
say
are.
watch this space, but yeah, we have to keep watching
Yeah,
this space, unfortunately.
we're it's definitely we don't have the crystal ball, but I get the feeling that there's some potential in this team reminiscent of the last time OKC was successful.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. What have we got up next?
Alrighty, so this is a question from Andrew Suter, excuse my pronunciation, Hewitt, and he's put up 3 LeBron James cards. One is a triple auto in NBA uniforms. It is LeBron James, Dwight Howard, and Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
The second,
So triple auto.
yep.
Nice.
The second is a on-card college uniform auto, and the third is a sticker auto with an NBA uniform. His question is, what would you choose if you had to choose one, and why?
Oh, look. I would probably the stickers off the table.
Okay.
I just like if it's going into a PC, I really prefer an on card if I can get it.
Yep, that's fine.
So I would take out the sticker auto. The which one out of the triple and the college uniform? It's an interesting one. I wouldn't mind having one college uniform of if it was a player I collect.
Yeah.
Especially we're talking LeBron here, right? One college LeBron in my PC if I collected LeBron. Do you know what I mean? Like I could even so if I had a Kobe that was Lower Merrington, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's actually kind of sick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like one. It makes it unique in the collection. So having one of would be really, really cool. That said, I'm not going to have a whole shelf full of LeBron, you know what I mean? In his high school uniform.
It depends what you enjoy and you collect.
No, just personally.
Yeah.
And it also depends, I think, on that flip side with the triple, who the other people are.
Well, in this case, it's Dwight and Carmelo. Like, they're not exactly potatoes.
They are definitely not potatoes, and there's relativity there, right? Like it's not. Was this guy actually a basketballer? Question mark. Do you know? Like we know these 3 players. They're all going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So Dwight's an interesting one. There's actually been a bit of chatter around him that he won't be in the Hall of Fame. So
he will. He's won a championship, but it was a gimme with the Lakers in the bubble. But I don't know. I think Dwight did enough. Like people forget Orlando Dwight.
Yeah,
Houston Dwight was pretty good.
And he played for Team USA. Like he's got a decent resume, hasn't he?
There are people in the Hall of Fame that have lower resumes, I would say.
Yeah, so, I would actually agree with that.
Yeah. So and Melo's Melo. Like whether or not his hoodie gets let into the Hall of Fame is another question. Maybe it's just his.
If he makes the Hall of Fame, I've actually got no problem with it. With his college resume and then his pro resume and then his USA resume, like it all adds up to a pretty amazing career. It is a shame he didn't win a chip.
Yeah. Sad. He got gold though.
So I am actually going to go for the sticker auto. Hear me out on this one.
All right.
Because I'm trying to reflect this back to my own PC. If I had, say, Fox and then Jonathan Isaac and, say, Malik Monk. That's from the same draft year as him, who are kind of like maybe something similar. I actually don't think I would particularly enjoy that card that much. I know I'm like grasping at straws here, but that's my sort of like reason on that. And then the college one. Look, to be honest, if I had any of these cards, I'd be very happy. So like I'm really just like I'm just making like an argument for the sake of it, but at the same time,
that's fine. I think the most tempting is the triple, right? The triple auto.
Look, if I had to choose between the two, it would be actually the Irish or the sticker. That was sort of my final two. I actually ruled out the triple first, and then I just ruled out the Irish one just for the fact it's not an NBA uniform. But I think, obviously the thing that makes you sort of and ah is, it is a sticker, but at the same time, I think some stickers work and some stickers, are a bit more, say, obvious or they don't work as well. Actually,
yeah, that blends pretty well.
Yeah, I don't find this one too intrusive or anything like that. That's the other thing that too. It's kind of like, actually, it's not so bad,
I think that's a good point.
That's my sort of like thing with that. But look, the part of this conversation I actually am really enjoying is the fact we're talking about non-NBA stuff because For me, the last couple of years, one of my favorite rips has actually been Prism Draft. I've been talking to Walls about this, I feel like, for 2 years now, and no one else will listen, and it doesn't sell well and all the rest of it. But at the same time, they put really interesting things into it. They put a lot of thought into it. The insert sets are interesting. Like, the case hits are good. Like, it's not, this sort of product that you'd throw away. And look, you can't compare this LeBron James signature to like anything that's come out of Prism Draft the last couple of years. And I'm not trying to make that comparison, but I'm just trying to make that point of, here we are, and it's like, this stuff's not terrible. Like, that's a really beautiful card.
Yeah. I'm just reading through some of the other comments. It's interesting. So it's interesting to see people have varying opinions, and as I said, it depends. If it was a Kobe, having a Kobe high school auto would be cool.
Absolutely.
And then if the triple was Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe, I'd probably have a heart attack, to be honest. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's actually amazing how many people here have said they would go for the Irish card.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because there's arguments for all of them, and I think that's the coolest thing about the hobby, that we've got a listener base that are very diverse with and can see all sides of it. It's really it's actually quite nice going through it and seeing that.
Do you want to read through a couple?
Timothy Price. Good question. For me, it'd be a toss-up between the on-card college or the sticker in the NBA uniform. In the end, I'd likely lean towards the NBA uniform. Stickers don't bother me as much as other people. I'd rather have a sticker than no auto at all. An NBA uniform, especially in Cavs, would be awesome to have. So I think Timothy's obviously speaking, if it was a LeBron card, LeBron in Cavs uniform over anything else.
Yeah.
So Tim Korovou, Irish high school auto on card all day.
Yeah.
And then Carl Morey on card triple auto, depending on the other players, i.e. guys that don't make any sense, would put me off. And that's what I was sort of getting to when I was talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Then the NBA sticker, then the college. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Sonny, I would choose the on-card triple auto unless the sticker auto is a rookie card. The Irish uniform auto wasn't printed and signed until over 10 years he graduated high school. That's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
So does that make that card less collectible because it's a reprint? Is that what Sonny's getting at?
He's saying he didn't sign it until 10 years after he was in high school. So he wasn't signing at that point, I think.
I wonder if it came out in sets 10 years later with him in an Irish uniform.
Well, it's a numbered, like it's a written number, 7 of 15.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Opens a secondary debate, I think, but no. That's an interesting one, but I definitely think it depends. There's reasons I would like it. There are reasons that I wouldn't. Apologies, my dogs are just going off their chops.
Totally fine. Alrighty, Timothy Price submitted a question. With the NBA celebrating its 75th anniversary, Panini have jumped on board and added inserts, variants, and autos acknowledging the anniversary across most products. Attached is a selection of these photos, so jump onto the Facebook page and check these out. Has Panini overdone it, and which is everyone's favorite? Personally, I like the way Panini have done it, and I really like the Spectra variant. The autos of Noir and 1-1 are amazing as well, but out of reach for a lot of collectors, which I have to admit I agree with.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the one that stands out the most, and for me it's not even close, is the Noir one. And my gut feeling about Noir all these years is that they make absolutely beautiful cards, but for whatever reason, the way that the cardboard they print it onto or the way that they cut it, the finishing and the edges is always a little bit dodgy.
Yeah,
and it might simply just be the fact that it's like black cardboard, so when you cut it, it looks white on the edges. Like, look, I don't know, I'm not a printing person, but these 75 cards are actually acetate cards, so that actually resolves, a big sort of
lot of the issues, that
I have. And in terms of the design, I think they're just, beautiful looking cards. Again, they're on-card autographs. The checklist, the people they put into it is just excellent. I think we've done this list already, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
And then I think
I'm just having a look at all the different designs.
The close second, though, is 1-1. And again, I've already been, frothing over 1-1 the last couple of weeks.
Don't start him again. Oh, no. Back to 1-1.
But, the real argument has to be made is, what is your personal preference? Because I actually, as much as I love 1-1, I would probably enjoy the Noir 75 more than that. I just think it's just a little bit
pops a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just a little bit easier on the eye. So, look, Tim's point about, catering to all different people's price points, I think he's right about that.
Yeah. Well, the one that I picked up the other day, and I think a couple of people have put it through Pocket Change, those 75 years in the NBA, that they're a nice little card.
Yeah, so we actually need to do like a proper segment on this, because what that set is that
this one came from Optic?
That's an Optic card, but that comes out of Prism. And then
oh my God,
they have the Mosaic one, and then in
television crossover, now we've got box crossovers.
Yeah, and actually what I haven't done is sat through and gone through them all and sort of looked at the whole checklist, and that's
maybe we do that over the holidays.
It's on my to-do list. I'll admit I have not done it, so I do apologize, but we will get to it at one point. I think my problem with that set is that I suspect it's going to be a very large set, and B, it would be quite expensive to collect them all, because you'd have to pay multiple units of postage, and then not that everything is about return on investment, but you just might end up spending, say,
spend way too much anyway.
$300 or $400 or $500 on this set that. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think the return will be there. So I think maybe the better play with those particular cards is just pick out a couple that you really like and, chase those ones as opposed to the whole set.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thoughts about the blue 75 logos, which I'm pretty sure they're unnumbered, and I'm talking about the Prism variants at the moment. Yep. I actually think these cards are a sell as soon as you rip them, because my gut feeling is they're selling probably a lot higher than what they should be, and the next sort of 12 to 24 months
they'll slowly decline.
Yeah, you'll sort of pick them up for maybe half the price that you sold them for now. So I'm a little bit reluctant to sort of not advise people, but jump up and down and tell people to buy these cards because they're a great investment, because I don't actually believe that. I'm actually a little bit wary of them.
Yeah.
And also too, because they come out of retail, I'm not sure about the print run on these. Like, they literally could be
infinite.
I mean, I wouldn't put anything past Panini at this stage, but yeah.
Yeah, true.
So if you had a dream budget ad, which of these cards would you get?
I think the Noir. The Noir, you're right. Like,
they're hot, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's Kareem. I would love that as my Kareem. But like, if I had a Kareem in my PC, but the same as Jerry West. Right, like the one. Is that the one I'm on?
Yeah.
I prefer the Noir, but I would love that to be. I would like one of my classic my veteran autographs to be one of the 75.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm celebrating a veteran player, but I'm also celebrating that they're one of the NBA's top 75.
And that's a centerpiece to your collection. If you do get something like that, that's something that goes in the good box. Yeah, definitely.
In the good box, that's it.
So my only cup is half empty view on this is that it's another way for them to expand the print run, particularly when we're talking about Prism.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you didn't give anyone any warning. We could have got our tinfoil hats out.
I don't mind if they come up with creative ways and positive ways to increase print run that takes the pressure off, box prices and stuff like that. Actually, it's not the worst thing in the world, but at the same time,
all right,
you have to acknowledge that this
why is 70 why is 75 so important? Like, in cricket, you make 50 runs and then 100 runs. Like the century is a big one, and half a century is half of the big one. 75.
I mean, maybe you could argue it is a made-up anniversary, but I think for a company to get to 75 years and a sports league, I think I'm okay with them celebrating this.
Are the NBA going to do something special on the 81st year and make it all about Kobe's 81-point game?
I think they'll just probably celebrate the day that he hit 81. Like, that's about it.
But you just pick a number.
I don't think
the 80th anniversary. 80 is a big number.
I don't actually think the league has over-celebrated the 75-year thing.
Did you see All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, but that was like one day. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay.
LeBron James fanboying over Michael Jordan. Anyway. And Jordan's still snobbing him. Anyway.
So I would be happy with either the 1-1 or the Noir. And I actually, to be honest, if I was going to be narrowing it down, it would be more about who am I, picking up. So, I actually haven't compared the checklist, but for example, if we're talking about Kareem and he's only Noir, well, then I would be getting that one. That's how I'd be like leaning towards that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. If it's autographs and stuff, you got to be very particular. I think if they're pretty shiny inserts, then go with what looks cool.
Yeah.
If you're just going for a collection for your folder, or do you know what I mean? Like a small collection, like just a set chase.
eBay authentication.
Oh, again?
Look, we don't need to do a big segment on this, but I think that it's worth mentioning. So
no, it is. I'm just like, oh, eBay.
We've had a couple of times where we've discussed it, and look, my sort of gut feeling with this is I don't understand all the ins and out of it yet, but I'm starting to get my head around it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had two experiences. One when the card was way over what it should have been sent for and didn't get sent for authentication.
Okay.
And the other head scratching moment I personally had was when the card was sent to authentication, but it was graded. So, what's the benefit there?
Yep.
Now, this one here is actually off Sports Cards Nonsense. This is from Michael. Was so excited to finally get a silver Prism Tatum rookie. And you can see the photos on the listing. It looks just absolutely immaculate. It even looks, maybe the centering's a little bit off left to right, but
still, it looks like a Photoshop.
It looks pretty good. It looks beautiful. Then it goes to the authentication process with eBay, and it comes back, and there's I would say I'm visually impaired, but I can see that dint with my glasses off, to be honest. So
I can assure you that dint is not on the photoshopped photo on the first one.
But this is the part that, like, I wanted to talk to you about, is it made it through the authentication process. So, like, I'm stuttering.
All right,
here.
so now my question is, what made it through the authentication process? Right. Because that looks like a genuine Panini printed silver Prism with a dent on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like the picture ad.
Yeah, but it's an authentic dent.
See,
does it look like but what are they authenticating? That it's a Panini, it's the pictured card, or it's the card that's claiming to be in the description?
I think authenticity is important. I definitely think that. And the fact that eBay is trying to do something to protect collectors is a good thing. So please don't think I'm ragging on it.
Oh, look, we're not ragging on eBay.
But let's talk about it. And I think for me, this is where sometimes people are just not very smart. And if you've got a listing with a picture like that, and then you've got a card that's like clearly it's been damaged,
yes,
and then it just gets sent back to the person. So the part where the buyer gets in trouble now is, and I was reading through the comments on this, and whether this is true or not, like I haven't read all the T's and C's on this. It actually says once you've received it back from the authenticity program, you can't then get a refund.
So it's even worse than...
Which actually, for me, puts people in an incredibly, difficult situation. So,
yeah,
guys, if you have been through the authenticity program, can you please
let us know?
Let us know, because I'm just... Whether it's been a good experience, a neutral experience, or a bad experience, I sort of want to hear all comers, because
we want a complete picture.
Where I'm sitting on this is, I think this is the tip of the iceberg
with authentication.
Yeah, because just like, hear me out on this. I think eBay is a very, very clever company.
Yeah,
and when I say clever, I think they're very good at making money, and I think they're also very good at building processes. So.
You think
if they can improve a process and make money out of it,
yeah,
there's no way that they are not going to be doing that and doing it more. So at the moment, the cutoff point is $500.
Yeah,
but who's to stop them from, say, doing it at $400, and that then improves the throughput, say another 10 or 15%? Easy money for them.
They're just milking it, unless it's a. Not verified, not authentic, not, what's the word? Dependable. The credibility of the authentication program, unless it has credibility, it's useless.
Agreed. Yeah.
And early feedback is it's relatively useless.
I mean, this could be the noisy minority, and that does happen on the internet.
The internet is renowned for it.
Yeah, but this to me it just shows that there's no common sense being used.
Yeah.
I think that's the nicest way to say it. Like that to me, that doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah, there's something a little off about it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they it's relatively new technology. It's a relatively new process.
Yeah.
So I guess we've got to give it some time. Give eBay the opportunity to iron out those kinks.
Yeah.
Give feedback wherever we can as consumers. Like buyers and sellers need to share their experiences with eBay. Then the brains trust at eBay need to obviously filter the BS from the legit and the exaggerations from the real data and sift through it and go, well, how do we fix this problem?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's finish off on a positive note. Let's finish off on Pocket Change. This is...
Just like last week, I have another envelope.
Let's go.
I don't know if this is Pocket Change. It could be one of two.
Look, so we've had a couple of comments about this on the page, guys. It's too many technicalities. There's too many questions about whether it's Pocket Change or not. Like, we're not going to verify your sales prices, okay, guys? Look, if it brings you joy and you want to put it onto the Pocket Change, can we just leave it at that? Is that...
I'm happy with my Pocket Change. Dear Value Collector, thank you for your continued support of Panini America.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're unable to provide you with the redemption that you had entered.
Adam has a smile on his face, though.
Please accept the enclosed replacement card, which is equal or higher value, and our sincerest apologies.
What do you got, Ad? This is...
I was going to get a Lual Dang Cornerstones piece of crap.
And then?
I got a Pau Gasol. We'll see if it's game worn because it's a bloody bet. It's iMac. It should be 3-color patch.
Yeah, that's a nice patch too.
Gasol playing for the Spurs, but it's Pau and it's a patch auto.
Yeah,
that's Pau Gasol.
That's a nice patch.
Whose jersey's being retired as a Laker. So I'm wrapped. That's a huge replacement.
You look genuinely happy too, like in the moment. That's great.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I just opened it, so. It wasn't like you were was it Bob McAdoo that I got last time? But yes, Pau Gasol on card, game worn, the enclosed, game worn material.
Delicious.
Go Spurs, go!
Yeah,
maybe, and it's numbered 40 of 40. No, maybe that's just my eyes. Yeah, 40 of 40.
Great,
cool. That was really nice, and I got it for a Lual Dang Cornerstones auto thing, so I think it's Pocket Change because it's Lual Dang.
I think it's good to appreciate vet auto stuff because I think sometimes it very much gets discounted and sort of overlooked in the hobby. So to see the smile on your face like that, actually, I'm kind of chuffed, Ad. Good stuff.
I'm happy. I've also got some points, but I can't get into my account to spend them.
That's another subject.
Thanks, Panini. But yes, all right. Other Pocket Change.
Yeah.
That's not our Facebook group.
So Sonny's put up a couple, and he put up some rippers. So he got a 4-card lot for $61. And
nice.
In that 4-card lot, there was a Magic Johnson auto. I think that's an absolute home run.
Bang.
Yeah. Ados Uchos picked up a Josh Green silver for $3. That is Pocket Change.
Yeah.
Lachlan Blunt. Lachlan's back again. Welcome back, Lachlan. Come back next week too, mate. $6.50 US for an impeccable rookie autograph, Precious Achua to 99. Good time to buy Precious at the moment. He's on the shelf. Good young prospect.
Yep, for
what
sure.
A pickup. That's delicious.
Some really, really nice pickups.
Anything capture your attention this week, Ad?
Capture my attention? Not really. Capture. I mean, apart from that, I'm just going back through previous Pocket Changes because I know people do occasionally post stuff on the old posts.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I'll just go through Andrew's one because actually Andrew went to a fair bit of effort for this. So after listening last few weeks, I set myself a challenge of a card that appeals to me under $50. It took a few weeks, but I found something I couldn't pass on. Had to be PC, SSP, and well, the grade topped it off. $44 for a PSA 10 of a checkerboard of only 17. So as in a pop count of 17. That is just absolutely perfect. And I'm kind of chuffed that this has become a thing, even for one person. I think this is actually like a really good exercise.
Yeah.
And I think also
So the thing I like about this is actually two things. Like, yes, you're getting good value, but you're actually putting thought into building your PC out. And I think that actually goes a really long way, because I was thinking about this the other night, actually. In some ways, it's actually easier just to sort of mindlessly spend money on breaks than actually do the hard work and troll through eBay to like pick up something.
And actually look for stuff.
And make a decision and purchase something, you know? So I think that's a really, really good pickup. And particularly if it's your PC, like, you know?
It's always a bonus when it's your PC, right?
Yeah.
Always a bonus.
I actually don't think I've got anything to tell you in terms of my own personal pocket change since the week. And to be honest, I'm just waiting for a few things to end on eBay. So sorry, Ed, nothing for me this week.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I'm actually big game hunting at the moment. I'm trying to find myself.
Yeah, you're on those bigger prospects.
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself a Christmas present at the moment. So I'm sort of just.
Did we say Lachlan Blunt's Malcolm Brogdon?
I skipped over that. You can say it though.
There we go. Well, $4.25 US, a Mosaic Genesis prism.
Great.
Yeah, said his first Genesis, been massive. He has been massive for the Celtics this year.
Yeah,
has Brogdon. Yeah, that was some good pocket change.
I think that's a wrap, Ed.
I do. I think that's Is that now? The question is this the last show for the year? Because obviously Christmas Day we're busy. We're doing Christmas. The following week is New Year's. Are we doing a New Year's show?
I think we need to get at least one show in that calendar 2 weeks.
All right. So we could just do a New Year's Day and then make this the last one for the year.
I doubt I'll be in any mood to podcast
on New Year's Day.
Probability is low.
Are you saying you'll be consuming alcoholic beverages to the point where you will be unable to podcast?
I just think that my enthusiasm might be a bit blunted. That's all.
Fair. Well, I was going to say I can't on Christmas. Too much eggnog. Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll see how we go, mate. We'll see if we can squeeze one more in.
I think we should
before the year is out, and then we will and be back nice and fresh in the new year.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's been fun. Only a week to Christmas. Hope everyone has been getting their last minute Christmas shopping done. Yep. Be it cards, be it gifts for others.
Yeah.
And yes, definitely get into the Christmas spirit and
have a Merry Christmas, Adam.
No road rage, people. No road rage. Knock it off.
That's a random thing. What's the road rage joke?
People are just stupid on the roads at the moment.
Radio. Like sort of
it's
the Christmas
silly
crazies.
Season. It's
radio. Yeah.
Everyone. It's like everybody's in a rush. Just be patient. Show a little goodwill towards your fellow man and woman and gender non-binary friend and acquaintance. Just don't.
Merry Christmas.
Be nice to everybody.
Be nice. Merry Christmas to all our listeners.
Yes.
Merry Christmas to our sponsors, EJ Cards. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, EJ Cards, for an awesome sponsorship for the year. It's been a fun ride. We passed the big 5-0, onwards and upwards to 100 next year.
Our next celebration will be 75. Ad, what do you think?
Can we just make it 76 or 77 just to make it a milestone? See if the NBA do a print run. Doing the 77 to celebrate Luka. I don't know. Anyway, have a fantastic Christmas to all the listeners, to you, Russell.
Cheers,
everybody.
Mate.
And yeah, we will see you hopefully again before the end of the year, but we'll definitely see you in the new year.
Peace, guys. Bye-bye.